Hello.
Hi.
All right. I'm not sure. Can you see me when I sit? If I sit here?
Yeah. You can tilt your thing a little bit. Yeah, your head's a little bit like tilt,
Oh, okay. Let me
but
move
it's
it.
not nothing big.
There we go. I think that might be better. Okay. Yes. Let me turn up the volume on this. Okay. So it's so funny. Everybody's Zooming today.
I know. I guess it's a busy week, huh?
I know. I'm like, all right.
It's a spring break for my kids, so it's a little bit more chaotic than normal.
Wow, it's early.
Well, they go to private school, so it's always these 2 weeks in March. It's this week and the next week.
Yeah. I know Kim is in. Her video must be off.
No, I can see myself.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna change the way that I have it set.
I'm gonna get my Sage 6. Let me just be right back, okay?
Yep. There we go. Now I can see. Okay, so we have everyone is zooming in today.
Okay.
So I'm just waiting. I have a few more people.
Hey, Natalie, I'm going to be in New York in April, and can I come to your house since you don't have 10 people there? When we do it, I think April 18th, I'll be in New York, so I'll come there for this instead of.
That's awesome. Definitely.
Okay,
Yes. I'd love that.
Excellent.
That would be great. All right.
I just have to get access to a car, which should not be a problem. So.
Oh.
It'll be easy though. It won't be a problem.
Let me see. All right. How did you do with last week?
Wait, are you talking?
You're saging now. I'm gonna be saging.
No, I know, but I gotta start doing the stuff so I'm not doing the medical intuitive. You know what I'm talking about? Last time I got this. By the way, it was, I know intuitively who it was, so I can tell her if she wants something more from me. But it was what's the other woman's name with the long hair?
The one that was in the room?
No, Zoom.
Oh, that was Jamie.
Psychologist, yeah. It was her. So if I'm happy to, like, I don't know, whatever. I can talk to her afterwards, but it's something that was coming through for her. So
Oh.
So I'm basically prepping myself so this won't happen again.
Yes. Very good. Very, very good. Let me just check with everybody and see, because we have Jamie. I mean, everyone should have gotten the, Kim, you got the same link from last time, right?
I mean, I didn't get a new one. I just used the email from last time.
That's what it should be.
Yep.
It is, because I just use it for the works. People
might
you
just did too. Because I just resent it to you. So
I used your original email, so either way, it's definitely the same.
All right, so we're just waiting. So we have, we have Ashley, who wasn't with us last week. She missed it. She's the one in Lisbon, in Portugal. Jamie, Ashley, and then Kara's coming by Zoom today. So let me just text them and see where they're at.
I'm going to run for a second because my journal is not here since we're waiting.
Okay.
I'm going to go find it. I'll be back.
All right, let me see, Jamie. You know, we had hopefully with the people from overseas.
Time change.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's confusing, to be honest. You're right, because they don't change at the same time we do.
It is, I did. It is also on original.
Even funnier, one of my friends is in Arizona, and she went 10 minutes over the border, and in Navajo area that she's in, they don't do the time.
They don't do it. Yeah.
She was so confused. She's like, what's going on? Why is the time different? And she found out they don't do it.
Yep. All right, let me just resend, I don't know, send an email to Kara, even though I did. Kara at, okay, root mandala massage.com. Okay, just resent hers. And then Ashley, let's see. Let's see. Otherwise, we'll just go ahead and start because people will be able to they'll be able to watch the video later for what they miss.
Okay.
All right. Let me see if Kara got it. Oh, she got it. Okay, she's signing on. I don't know what happened to Jamie. I texted her. Did I text her? Okay, here's Kara. Admit. Okay. Hey, Kara, can you hear us? Kara?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Just checking that you can hear us.
Sorry, yes.
All right. Hold on. Jamie's just asking, same as last time. I can resend. Okay, let me just send another link. Hotmail. Okay. There we go. All right, so we're just gonna wait. Jamie's joining us, and then we're gonna get started.
Okay, great.
And Ashley will either join us or she'll do the recording. Okay. I'm very excited for today. All right.
I don't know. I was nervous for today because facing fears is not my favorite activity.
One of my favorites. All right. Okay. I think we have all of you who will be joining us by Zoom. Yay! Hi, Jamie.
Hi.
Hi, Kara. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
And hello to all of those that are also doing it by recording. So, all right. So, welcome today. We're going to journey into the root chakra. So, and this journey is going to be all about like facing our fears. And it's actually one of my favorites. And oddly, I tend to do it a lot in my dreams too. Like this particular journey, for whatever reason, seems to follow me into my dreams, which is always fun. Okay, so we're gonna just, like, each session is gonna start in the same way. We're gonna create our sacred space. So we're gonna sage, smudge, palo santo, whatever it is that you use, and then I'm gonna call in the direction. So the word sacred means to separate. So this is how, through these kinds of rituals, we actually separate out this part of our day from our regular mundane day-to-day activities, and we separate out this time to make it a time for a deeper connection with ourselves and source. All right, so I'm going to start with some sage and just clearing this space. If you guys, have a feather that you can use, that's always great to help move the smoke around. We can also create sacred space with oils, actually. You can even spray. Sometimes when I'm in my office in Mount Kisco, I can't use sage or smoke. And so sometimes what I'll do is I use a spray. Okay. And I personally like to create like a little perimeter. So I will like smudge around. I wish I could take you guys with me. Think of it as creating a magic circle of sacred space. call on the spirit of the East, of illumination, of new beginnings. Thank you for being here with us today. This is the home of the eagle, the dragon. Guide us in raising our vibrations higher and higher as we continue to ascend, leaving behind what no longer serves us. Thank you for your presence as a light which guides us on our path to grow and to change and evolve. Thank you. Oh, to the spirit of the South, home for the snake, the transmutation for innocence, fire, passion, love, joy, imagination. Thank you for being here with us today. Thank you for guiding us as we transform and change and remember the innocence and the love of who we are, the essence of who we are, our spirit. Thank you for being here with us today as you guide us to finding the fire within, so that our path is fueled and is run by our spirit. So we honor all that burns within us, all the desires. Oh, to the spirit of the West, the place of bear, the element of meadow, the tiger. Thank you. Thank you for being here with us today. Thank you in guiding us and refining our intuition, refining our connection to ourselves, in separating out what is ours and what belongs to others. Guide us in going deep within, to bringing out who we are into the world without the constructs of society. And ho, to the spirit of the North, the element of water, the black turtle, to the buffalo, to our ancestors, our elders. Thank you for being here with us today. This is where we honor gratitude, abundance, where we learn to listen to the wisdom that rises from deep within us, the wisdom that lives in the mystery. It connects us to our higher selves, the ability for us to rise to the highest places and to connect to the deepest of places. Guide us in learning how to flow within our own nature. Oh, to the spirit of above, the great stars, the planets, the heavens. Thank you for always guiding our way. So we know that all we need is to look up when we feel lost, to recognize that we come from the stars and will return to the stars. And therefore, we're always home. Thank you. Oh, to the spirit of below, our great earth. Thank you for nurturing us, grounding us, for showing us that we are all one and we're all connected on this planet. For knowing that we are here to learn and to grow, and we do it together as mirrors for each other. Oh, to the spirit of within, the place of lizard, of the dream time. This is where we act as a bridge of heaven and earth, of what is spirit and what is matter. Guide us in dreaming our future, so we know that there are no limits and that the limitations are only within our mind. Guide us in connecting to all the different dimensions, in understanding that they're all levels of consciousness, and they are limitless and infinite. And we are gifted with access to all. Oh. Hi. So while I can see you all, I can't tell if your eyes are open or closed. So I'm trying to tell if everybody's back. All right, so let's just do a quick of how is everyone feeling from last week? Does anybody want to share anything? We don't have to, we can move on.
No, I mean, I felt really good doing the journeying. It was my first time doing this process and this experience, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm excited to do it again, and I'm excited to explore sort of these worlds that come up, which which I don't know, it just feels really like fun. And I mean, maybe today won't be fun because I guess we're doing fear, but it will be interesting. And I thought it was really it felt, for me at least, very interesting what came up, because I don't think that at least these days I have much time where people are making me self-reflect. I'm doing a lot of work for other people, but I don't feel like it's often enough that I'm receiving in this way. So I thought it was really, really helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. Yes, it's always amazing to have someone else to help you reflect, especially when you're someone who's always helping others. It's a big part of our self-care and our journey. And, you know, I'm always a big believer of we can only take people as far as we can go ourselves. And so there's always that, I'm always aware of constantly self-reflecting and evolving and changing and growing. And I love that. I love that. I love that a lot of things that I believed 2 years ago, I don't necessarily believe today. So it's a beautiful thing. So grateful. Thank you. Anyone else?
I would just say that I appreciate reconnecting, because I find I get caught up in my day-to-day life, and it's really easy to get away from these routines that actually do make me feel more centered and whole, and reconnecting with my spirit animals, and just was a really nice experience. And I appreciate having this opportunity to come together every week.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think even with what's going on in the world, I feel like this work that we do is maybe even one of the most important things that we can contribute, in just keeping our vibrations as high as we can get them, and keeping our minds as clear as possible, and keeping everything elevated, I think is really helpful during these times. All right, so we're going to start with breath, just to help us to connect with ourselves. So today what we're going to do is we're going to do breathing and a visualization, like meditation at the same time, that's going to help us to really connect to our root, right? So I guess maybe what I'll do is I'll talk about the root chakra first, and then we'll go into the breath work, and then we'll go into the journey. So this way, I think it'll help with the breath work, although I'm sure all of you are aware of what the different chakras are. And what I have found is that, just like with anything else, everybody has their own construct, their own concept. There are some that are general in terms of what each chakra relates to, and then depending on who you read and who you follow and what traditions, some of it may change. And even in calling in the directions, it depends on the culture. And even within a culture, even within the Native American culture, if they're calling in the directions, it depends on what tribe you're from, what color each direction is relating to an animal, and all of that. So I think it's important, just in general, that I'm here to offer you what resonates with me and what comes to me. And I think it's important that from that you take what resonates with you, and then you add to it your own flavor, and see what feels right for you. So the root chakra is our foundation, and it's in our lower center. So it's connected to our perineum, the coccyx, the kidneys, the spinal column, up to the brain. So don't just think just below here, because it does also connect, in my opinion, and in some others, that it goes up through the spinal column and it also connects to the brain. The colors that are associated with the root chakra are black or a deep red. And it's very much our foundation. So it's also about our safety, our security, and our basic fundamental needs, right? And when our fundamental needs aren't met, then our root chakra can become very overactive. And when it's overactive, then we tend to be in fear, panic, anxiety. We'll go into that sympathetic response of fight, flight, freeze, right? So those are some of the symptoms of an overactive root chakra. And it just usually will come with when we just feel like our needs weren't met, you know. So whether you come from traumatic childhood, where you know you were always worried growing up, always looking to survive, you know, as many of us, you know, have. When it's underactive, it's like, you know, all your needs were met, but you're not grounded. So when it's underactive, it can be where you're very spacey. You're just not grounded. You know, you're like always like off in la la land, and you just don't have a connection to your body. The root chakra is very much connected to our physical body and our physical energy. How much energy do we have in order for us to do the day-to-day things that we need to do? Also, when it is in balance, when we do have a nice balanced root chakra, then we tend to feel like we feel safe, we feel secure, everything feels like it can flow. You know, those times where you feel like, oh, things are flowing. That usually can tell you that, you know, in that moment, your root chakra is feeling pretty grounded and it's pretty anchored. And if you think about the foundation of things, like we need a foundation that we can build on. If the foundation is cracked, then it's very hard to build something that's going to be sustainable, something that's going to withstand any kind of pressure, right? So just like it would be that way when you're building a building, it's that way for us too. Like our root chakra needs to be, everything always goes back to the root, because our root chakra really needs to be anchored, and we need to be anchored in it, right? When we're anchored in it, then we can really be able to expand. Then we can really explore. You know, it's like very hard to feel joy or love when you don't feel safe, right? When your whole body is racked and how do I keep myself safe, or how do I just meet my basic needs, right? Or if we're always struggling at the end of the month, you know, how am I going to pay my mortgage? How am I going to pay my bills? How, you know, how is this going to happen? That's not like we don't feel safe, right? So it's always about like, what are the levels that we can feel safe? Once we feel safe, then we can go into trust. Then we can go into acceptance. Then we can go into surrender. Then we can experience expansion, growth, love, joy, you know, all of those other emotions, because we feel safe. So how do we strengthen our root chakra, right? So one of the basic ways that I love is, you know, I don't know, have we all heard the term like earthing? So earthing is like going out and walking barefoot in the earth and allowing all of the electromagnetic frequency from the earth and all of the nutrients and everything to come up through the soles of our feet. We can absorb a lot through the soles of our feet. And the soles of our feet are also connected to the root chakra. So earthing is a really beautiful way to just go out and, you know, I've actually even done hikes barefoot and you would think like, oh my God, it's going to hurt. But in fact, it doesn't, because you become so incredibly acutely aware of each step as you take it, that even within one step, you can feel the different textures of the earth beneath you. And so it's really an amazing thing to do. So I do encourage, not now, it's too cold, but if any of you can get out there and actually walk barefoot or just stand barefoot for a little bit, it really helps to helps us to get grounded. So that's one way. Another way would be to take baths. So the water, the water element is associated with the root chakra. So even taking baths with like Epsom salts are very grounding. Being in the ocean, swimming, those are different things that we can do that will really help us to get grounded and anchored in our root chakra. Making sure that we take the time for self-care, that we take time to create a sacred space. Any time where we're actually like engaged in a physical activity where we're also connecting the breath, and where it's a physical activity where we're very aware of our body and our movements, that's also going to help you to be grounded. Foods that can help you to ground would be like the root vegetables, red meat, or even actually any meat from like a four-legged animal. So if you think of the fact that they have four legs on the ground, right? Any meat from a four-legged will help you to, also bone broth will help you to get rooted, to feel more grounded. So those are the foods. And then we have different stones, because, I love my stones. And the stones that will help us, just to give you a few, this is actually, this is Numite. So Numite is one stone that will help you. If you think about black stones, any black stone, this is azurine. Azurine will help to ground you. Hematite helps to ground you. Black tourmaline will help ground you. Then we have the garnets. Garnets are all helpful in grounding. Smoky quartz is helpful in grounding. So in general, in terms of the stone people, any of the black stones, the smoky quartz, or the deep reds, if you want to go by just the law of signature in terms of the colors. And another one that would also resonate is sodalite. Sodalite is a blue. I'm trying to look around here, and I don't think I have one right at arm's reach, but it's like usually blue and white, but it has a lot of sodium in it. And so that's also going to be very anchoring. Let me see if I forgot anything here. Yeah. So you want to think of like also the root chakra is connected to our hips, our legs, our knees, all of the lower body, right? So from the pelvis on down, from the front, and then from the kidneys on and up the spine to the brain from the back body. So if we think even like the sciatic nerve is a root chakra issue. So when people have sciatic nerve issues, that's also a root chakra issue. So that's something they're not feeling safe, they're not feeling secure, they're anxious about something. And if you think of our legs and you think of our pelvis, it's all about forward movement, right? It's all about moving actually. It's just movement. So usually if people are feeling very stuck, there's a blockage there. So there's usually some kind of blockage in the root chakra, and it's and that's when they get stuck. So then you'll get like sciatic pain, you'll get low back pain. Those are all where there's change that needs to happen, and people are resisting it, and so it's creating this conflict, this tension within itself. So what we're going to look at to work with today is the aspect of fear. That's the root emotion for the root chakra. But that's the emotion that's the mostly associated with, because when we don't feel safe, we don't feel secure, we feel afraid. right? So when our basic needs aren't met, we feel afraid. And, generally, every fear, when you trace it back, goes to the fear of death or dying, right? So, we're going to have a great journey today, like really exploring this. And in shamanic practices in general, one of the first things that you want to do and you want to learn is to be able to face your fears, not to be not afraid, because we're all going to have fears of something. So it's not about just having absolutely no fear, but it's that when the fears come up, you can face them, that they don't block you, they don't stop you from moving forward in your life, they don't stop you from evolving and growing, but that rather you can face your fears. So when you're doing a shamanic practice initially, it's facing your fears, and the different traditions do it in different ways, but generally all traditions have some version of it. And we'll talk about that actually in a little bit. I want to do the breath work. So let's do you guys have any questions about anything? Okay. So let's go into the breath work. I just want to do a little bit of breathing because I want the breath work to help us to physically connect to that area of our body. And then the journey will help us connect in a different way. So with the breath work, what we're going to do is as you breathe in, on your inhale, you're going to imagine that your soles, and actually if you can have your soles like on the floor. If not, just imagine that your soles are absorbing the energy from the earth, right? All of those beautiful nutrients are coming up from the earth. And you want to feel it coming up through the soles of your feet, up your legs, up your perineum, through your vagina, your rectum, every orifice that you have going on down there. And allow it to come up, allow it to swirl around your pelvis, the very lower aspect of your pelvis, below your belly button, and then allow it to swirl around your kidneys. Allow it to travel up your spinal column and into your brain. Visualize the color associated with this, which is black or like a deep red. So visualize the energy coming up as a black or deep red from the center of the earth. You can even connect and see like the roots of the trees, see the like little bugs that live deep within the earth, see the minerals, and allow all of that energy to come up through your feet, through your legs, into your pelvic bowl, and then let it swirl. Go up your spine to your brain, and then with your exhale, allow it to all go back down like a beautiful exchange. So as you're inhaling, you're absorbing all of these nutrients, all of this beautiful energy, and as you exhale, you're detoxifying, you're letting go. And you can always inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth until you feel like you're cleared. And then begin to just inhale and exhale through your nose. So you're going to inhale all of this beautiful energy from the earth that's very nurturing, that feels very safe, very connected, very grounded, coming up through your feet, up your spine, to your brain. And as you exhale, just let go of any tension, any thoughts, worries. Just send it all down into the earth to be transmuted. And so just work with your breath. As you breathe, I'm going to play a root chakra bowl. Allow this sound to connect to the root chakra energy as it rises up from the earth through the soles of your feet into your pelvis, up your spine to your brain. And with each exhale, just let go. And begin to feel any sensations you might notice in your root. Notice what direction it swirls. Really feel those soles of your feet on the earth. Feel every cell absorbing the energy. So start to come back into your space, into our presence. So I'm just going to ask, do you feel different after that breath work than you did before the breath work? Does anybody feel a shift within themselves?
I do. Yeah. And I had a very interesting thing happen, which doesn't normally happen when I'm just kind of doing breath work, which was as I was exhaling, I could literally see a snake face like exhaling for me. And at first it was like next to me, but then it became like I became that snake, like exhaling, which was just very different. Like I don't normally have that experience when I'm doing any type of breath work. So it was just really interesting for me.
That's beautiful. Also, if we think about that Kundalini energy as it goes up, from the root and travels up the spine. So I love that. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. So let's talk about our journey. This is honestly one of my favorite journeys. I don't know. I may say this about every single one. Just to let you know. It's like crystals, right? This is my favorite crystal. This is one of my favorites. um, but what we're going to do, honestly, in most traditions, there is this exercise that initiates have to do, which is about facing your fears. Because how are you going to travel to other dimensions if you have so much fear, right? Because you're going to attract what you resonate. So if you are somebody who is holding on to a lot of fear, when you travel into other dimensions, that's what you're going to attract, right? It's a vibrational thing. So it truly is a big process. So in the Toltec traditions, they have a thing called the recapitulation. And it literally is, you spend hours in a cave, in a dark cave with no light. You can't see your hand in front of you. And you review your life, right? You review your life. In Taoism and in many other traditions, it's the same. You go and you sit in a cave. They all have it. You go sit in a cave and you sit in the pitch black. And it's not pitch black because it's scary. It's pitch black because the dark is the place of all possibilities, right? All possibilities exist within the mystery. The mystery exists in the deepest, darkest energy in the void, right? So, we've been conditioned and taught to be afraid of the dark, to be afraid of the night. But actually, these are places that hold a lot of power and a lot of answers for us, because it's in that quietness. It's when we can sit in that quiet space, when we can sit in complete darkness, which means that a lot of our senses, our sense of sight is shut down, right? So it activates our other senses. We can tune into ourselves, and then we can access the wisdom within ourselves. And so, the dark is a very, very powerful place to be. And I encourage all of you. I have underneath my stairs in my home, I created a dark room. So it's just a tiny little space that is just can be pitch black because there's no light that comes in. And I'll just sit there sometimes, and that's where I'll do my meditations and my reflections. And it's very, very powerful. So I encourage all of you, if you can find a dark space, that you can create a dark space, some, closet, bathroom. It doesn't have to be, a pretty space, because you're not going to see it anyways. but it's about the ability to sit in the dark with your eyes open, right? We can all close our eyes and go into an altered state, with the notion that all we have to do is open our eyes and we can see what's around us. But it's very different when you go in and you have to sit in a cave, where it's pitch black and you can't see anything with your eyes open. It just activates a different part of you. And to be able to sit in that space and breathe and do your reflections, your meditations, and see what comes up is just very powerful. Very, very powerful. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do that. We're going to journey to a cave. So we're going to do the exercise, but in an altered state and with a little twist. So we're going to journey to a cave. So you're going to start off in your safe space, right? And last week you all met an animal that's your ally. Now you can invite that animal, or if you have an animal from another process that you've done, from another time that's been with you, you can invite them to come. But you can invite one of your animal allies to meet you in your safe space. And then once you're there and you've done the process of really being there by, connecting all of your senses in that space and really feeling it, ask the animal to take you to the sacred cave. They all know where it is. You know where it is. And they will. And I don't know how they're going to get you there. You could ride the animal, walk alongside the animal. The cave could just appear all of a sudden. Your safe space could just become the cave, right? Everyone's going to have a different process of how they get there. Once you're in the cave, it's pitch black and your animal will be beside you. And this part I'm going to leave up to you. You can either envision a bubble around you that's protective. If you are somebody that generally carries a lot of fear, you might want to do that just to feel safe. If you're someone who feels like they've done a lot of work around their fears, then you can just stand there without that protective shield and just with your animal there. And then once you're in that space and you're standing there, so it's pitch black, you can't see, you're going to invite your fears to reveal themselves to you one at a time. And just like with the initial journey, like going down to the lower world to meet your animals, again, these are going to show up in different ways. You might see like a movie in front of you. You might hear sounds. You might just feel something really scary. So just be aware of all the different ways in which it might appear. Your invitation during this whole process is to be neutral, to just be the witness. That's it. You don't need to go after the fear. You don't actually want to engage in any way. Just be neutral. Just witness. And you'll see, like, your fears as they come up, they may take forms. They may take the shape of entities or like monsters or, or they can actually try to appeal to your compassion, and you might actually see them in forms of cute puppies and babies and, whatever it is. So the invitation is to not react to no matter what shows up, even if it looks all fluffy and cute or really, really scary. Either way, your invitation is to be neutral, to just be neutral and witness. And sometimes, what will happen is, it'll start off as one thing, and because you're non-reactive, it will start to morph into other things and do whatever it can to elicit a reaction. Does this sound familiar to anybody? Anybody had anybody in their life that would do that? But you know, people will do that with us too. So this, you know, this exercise also, when we do things in an altered state, we actually can, it works with us when we're back in this reality as well. So the more we do exercises like this when we're in an altered state, when something happens in this life that invites that emotion of fear, you will actually be able to access that neutrality much quicker in your waking state, right? So that's the beautiful carryover that happens. And I know for myself, I have found it incredibly powerful and helpful, and for many of my clients as well. So that's the work. The work is to just, no matter what shows up, no matter what happens, to be neutral. Sometimes, if one of your biggest fears is for nothing to happen, like if you're afraid to be in nothingness, emptiness, if you're someone that always needs distractions, then you might find that while you're in this state, nothing happens. Be neutral with that as well. So the key is to just be neutral no matter what happens, no matter what shows up, and even if nothing shows up. The invitation is to be able to just be neutral. Anybody have any questions?
Just have one question. Are you going to take us through, like, and letting us know what you just said in terms of when you want us to transition from our original sort of sacred divine space to this other one, and lead us there, just so that we don't have to do it on our own, or should we do it on our own?
Yes, I'm gonna, just like we did the last time, I'm gonna guide you guys into your safe space, into really connecting to that safe space, bringing all your senses with it, inviting the animal, your ally, to be with you in that safe space. And then I'm gonna leave you to be with your ally, and you ask them to take you to the cave. And then, you know, of course, once you're there, you're, you know, at your own pace, right? So yeah, absolutely. Anything else? Okay, great. Awesome. So, all right, let me just, I'm going to look at my notes, make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh yeah, of course. Make sure you're rooted. So that whole breathing exercise that we just did, like, allow yourself to really feel anchored in the cave, right? That you're anchored in yourself and you're anchored in the cave. Yeah. Okay. So this is really a journey about trust. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to rewire the patterning in your brain, right? And how we respond to things we're afraid of. So we're just trying to rewire that and really bring you into that place of trust. And the trust is in yourself. All right. Are we all ready? Okay. I'm just gonna drum a little bit and make sure everybody can hear it. Are we all good? Okay, great, perfect. All right, so let's close our eyes. Take a deep inhale, exhale with your mouth open, and allow yourselves to just let go. Just take a few breaths. Rooting yourself. some root chakra breathing while you're in this space, absorbing the energy from this dimension. Notice how you feel in this place. Welcome back. Why don't you guys take a few minutes and journal? Write down the important aspects of your experience. You don't have to write it all down word for word, but just the parts that really stick out for you. Okay, we might want to wrap that up. I did forget to mention that there are also oils that resonate with the root chakra. And when you're looking at oils, you want to look at the resins, like frankincense. You want to look at, another one is benzoin, or you want to look at like seed oils, like angelica seed or carrot seed oil, sesame seed, grape seed as like carrier oils. Also like oak moss. Oak moss, if you ever see that oil, is like so gooey and thick and it's black. So those are all like oils. Those are just a few. There's more, but those are oils that are all like very grounding oils. Even one of my favorites is spikenard. Spikenard was an oil that they anointed Jesus's feet with when they were preparing him for the cross. But it's a very grounding oil, and it actually brings the energy down. So like if you're ever feeling anxious, or you're feeling like there's a lot of energy going up in your body to your head, spikenard is like one of those oils that'll really like bring the energy down and be very, very calming. Okay. So beautiful. Does anybody want to share anything? We don't need to, but if anybody wants to, I have some time, so we can also, I'm available for any questions or comments that you might want to have. I'm just going to turn off the recording, and then I'll have a few minutes if anybody wants to stick around with any questions.
I was only going to say that in the past, when I've journeyed this type of journey with you, I've had like complete panic and not being able to kind of stay there at all for, and even times when you've asked me to sit in the dark, like I probably couldn't do more than like 60 seconds. But today I felt, I don't know, I just felt more at peace. And I kind of had this like rising up feeling, like I started to get really big and almost floating, and nothing was like crystal clear, but it was just almost like this feeling of release that was really nice.
Beautiful. Love that. I love that. Wonderful. Thank you. Does anybody else want to share anything? All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. I know when I'll just share something.
I think Jamie was about to share.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
that's okay. I was just going to say thank you back.
Oh.
Well, and I do have questions, so we don't have to keep everyone here, but I am so confused. My journey made no sense to me, literally 0 sense. And I had no fears that came up, but a lot of stuff and information that I don't understand at all. It's
Okay.
very difficult, so I can ask you separately, but.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, great. Hold on, I'm going to move this table out of the way and move you guys in closer so I can actually see you guys, because it's like hard for me to see what everyone's doing. There we go. Now I can see you. Yeah, so it's up to you and everyone else. I'm just going to stop the recording, I think.